Hi guys, so now I'm going to be looking at this question, which is question 7. It says to us, the diagram below shows the graph of that, so that is my parabola as I can see, and g of x, that is your straight line, and the point of intersection of f and g. It means our point of intersection of it's here and here, those coordinates are given to us. And VW is a straight line parallel to the y-axis. Good. Write down the equation of the axis of symmetry 7.1. Axis of symmetry. Let's talk about the axis of symmetry of a parabola. We know firstly that it's x equals to minus b over 2a if you are given your function in a form of ax squared plus bx plus c, right? And then if it's given as a equals to ax plus p squared plus q, we know that the axis of symmetry will be minus p. So this is situation number 1, situation number 2, then situation number 3, midpoint. Remember, axis of symmetry, it's where it cuts the graph into 2 equal parts. So if I'm having this as my graph, the axis of symmetry will definitely be here. So it means if I have this point and this point, I can get this one as the midpoint. If I have this one and this one, I can get this one as the midpoint. Do you understand? It means if I'm having a 6 this side and I'm also having a 6 this side, it means I can get the midpoint here. Oh, what is the midpoint of that line? That will be the axis of symmetry because it cuts that into 2 equal parts. Because this point and this point, they are symmetrical, if you can put it that way. So it means the situation, it says a midpoint, it means x1 plus x of 2 divided by 2 will give me the axis of symmetry. That's one thing that I know. Right. Also, if I give you, let's say maybe this is the function that you're given, then this here it's 3, and then here it's 1. Then they ask you what are this coordinate. What are these coordinates of A? Because of 1 is the axis of symmetry, they told me that 1 is the axis of symmetry. It means I know that I have traveled 2 and 3. I traveled from 2 and then I went to 3. So I traveled 2 units. So to go this side to A, I need to travel 2 units. So this will be 0 and then minus 1. So this will be at negative 1. Or I can use x1 plus x of 2 divided by 2 equals the axis of symmetry is how much? It's 1. Right? Therefore, the x is the x of A plus the x of the other x, it's 3 divided by 2 equals to 1. This will be x of A equals to 2 minus 3x of A equals to negative 1. So they like to give you this one, where they will give you one coordinate and then the axis of symmetry, they're looking for the other coordinate. So this is the concept of axis of symmetry in a parabola. Are we clear on that one? Now, let me just, what can I do? I don't want to erase this, so let me rather just add, and let me add another page. Good. And then that page template, let me make it this way, because yeah. Good. So that's what we have with the axis of symmetry. Now in 7.1, let me just do 7.1 here. In 7.1, the axis of symmetry, what are you given? Sorry. The axis of symmetry in 7.1, you are given 2 coordinates, this one and this one, so I can get the midpoint. So this will be 6. The x coordinates will then be 0 plus 1 divided by 2 equals to the axis of symmetry. Therefore, x equals to 1 over 2, which is 0.5. Other people, they cheated this question and then they used this. They used 7.5, here's 7.5, and then they went to the step. If you do that, you cannot show me how you got it. Just give me the answer, because I will know that will penalize you for going down there and getting that equation that you don't even know about. Do you understand? And use it there. So even if you use this equation, you still get 1 over 0.5. Just write x equals to 0.5. Don't show the minus b over 2a, because the equation, it's not given. Hence, the question is 1 mark. They want you to use this knowledge of axis of symmetry. I hope I'm making sense. Now let's move to 7.2. For which values of x is f of x decreasing? When we talk about increasing and decreasing, guys, we read our graph always from the left. That's how you start reading your graph. So as you can see, this graph, I'm coming from my left. This is you on your left. What's happening? This graph, it's increasing. You're going up. It's increasing up until there. That's when it's increasing. Someone else will come and then read this graph from this side and then say it's increasing here. You understand? Which they're correct if they're moving from the right, but we always read the graph from the left. That's why our increase, it's only the side. So we increase up until at V, at the axis of symmetry. Remember, the point of x there, it's 0.5. Which values of x? So this from here going there. So it means x is less than 1 over 2. Because all these values that are less than 0.5. Good. 7.2. 7.3. Calculate the average gradient between f and d, between d and e. Sorry, the gradient of f between d and e. So the average gradient, guys, is the normal gradient that you know. Sometimes d, the coordinates, it's -1 and 4, and then e, it's 0 and 6. Normally they'll just say calculate the average gradient of f between x is -1 and y is 0. That's how they like to ask. No, not y is 0. Where x is -1 and x is 0. That's how they like to ask this question. Then you have to go to your graph and substitute -1 to get the y coordinate, substitute 0 to get the y coordinate. Then only then after you can calculate your gradient. So always keep the lookout for such a question. They give you the x coordinate, you have to find the y coordinate. Then average gradient equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm using this one as my 2s, this one as my 1. So it's 6 minus 4 over 0 minus 1. This is 2 over 1. So it's 2. Good. Now let's go to 7.4. 7.4, they are asking, determine the equation of G. When you look at G, let me highlight G for you. That's G. It has this point and that point. So if I can get the gradient of df, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Remember, it's a straight line. So 6 minus 4 over, those are the 2's, those are the 1's. x2, it's 1 minus 1. So this will then be it's 1. Therefore, y equals to mx plus c. My y, I use one of the coordinates. I can use 4. M is 1, x is -1 plus c. 4 equals to -1 plus c. 5 equals to c. Therefore, y equals to x plus 5. That becomes the equation of your straight line. 7.5, so it means it's y equals to x plus 5. Show that the equation is given this. Let's talk about equation of a parabola. Equation of a parabola. Expected questions. If you are situation number 1, let me do 1. When you are given x-intercept and 1 point. This is the formula you use. Y equals to ax minus x1, x minus x2. And then this will be your x-intercept, x1 and x2. This will be the other point. I should have said x-intercept and the other point. Are we clear? This x and x, and then the y will be the other point. x1 and x2 will be the x-intercept. Situation 2, when you are given the turning point and one other point, you use y equals to ax plus p squared plus q. Let me quickly just... Yeah, so we use this equation if we're given the turning point and one other point. This would be the turning point p and q. The y will be the other point. Now, situation 3, we use simultaneously. You'll be given the y-intercept and 2 other points. So let's look what situation are we having here. In my graph, I know the x-coordinate of my turning point, it's 0,5. So here it's 0,5 and y. So it's not situation number 2. I don't have the x-intercept. It's not situation number 1. So I can try situation number 3. Are we clear? Now, simultaneous, y-intercept and the other point. So I am given the y-intercept and 2 other points. So I'm going to have y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c. Right. Y equals to ax squared plus bx. C is 6. Now I'm going to substitute 1 point, which is 1 and 6. This point first. So this is 6a1 squared plus b1 plus 6. This is 6 minus 6 equals to a plus b. 0 equals to a plus b minus b equals to a. This can be my first equation. Now I'm going to substitute minus 1 and 4, which is this point. So y is 4 equals to a negative 1 squared plus b minus 1 plus 6. 4 equals to a minus b plus 6 minus 2 equals to a minus b. And then remember this a, we said it's substitute that a there. So I'm having minus 2 equals to minus b minus b. Minus 2 equals to minus 2b minus 2 minus 2. 1 equals to b. If b is 1, I go back here. It means a will then be a equals to minus b, a equals to negative 1. Therefore, a is negative 1, b is minus 1, b is positive 1, and then c is 6. Therefore, the equation is minus x squared plus x plus 6. So we use situation 3. So keep in mind if they want the equation of your parabola. Let's continue now. They're looking for 7.6. Calculate the length of SU. SU. So SU. So that's what I'm looking for. So if I can get how much is S, how much is U, then I'll be good to go. At S is the x-intercept of the straight line y equals to x plus 5. So y is 0. So it will be 0 equals to x plus 5 minus 5 equals to x. Therefore, the points there will then be negative 5 and 0 at S, and then the U is the x-intercept of the graph f of x equals to negative x squared plus x plus 6. So this will be minus x squared plus x plus 6 equals to 0. X squared minus x minus 6 equals to 0. Division by negative. This will be x minus 3x plus 2 equals to 0. Remember, when you're here, you're allowed to can use your quadratic. Yeah, you can always use your quadratic formula. This will be x equals to 3 or x equals to negative 2. Therefore, the u will then be 3 and 0 because u it's positive again. So I want the distance between s is minus 5 and 0, and then u it's 3 and 0. So from this point to there I traveled 5 units. From here to there I traveled 3 units. Therefore SU equals to 8 units. That will be your distance. 7.6. Oh, I'm done. 7.7. Determine the values of x for which f of x minus. So f of x minus g of x is less equals to 0. Let me just rub everything. Good. So f of x minus, this is the same as f of x less or equals to g of x. So it's less than g of x. So it means g of x is at the top. This one, less than. So less, f of x is less. So it's at the bottom. This one is at the top. So I'm going to look for that. Remember, we read from the left again. This, sorry. The pink one, it's the g of x, so it must be at the top. Where g is at the top, yes, here it's at the top, it's at the top, it's at the top until there. Here it's f at the top, so after here, then the g is at the top. That's where g is at the top. Between negative 1 and 1, you can see it's f that's at the top. Are we clear? So it means the solution will then be, how are these values? It's here and then also there. So how are these values on negative 1? They are less. So x is less than negative 1. Less or equals to, because this is an equals to the question. Or x is bigger or equals to. What is the point there? Is it 1? Yes. 1. Are we clear on that one? Good. Now let me just add additional questions here. Let me add additional questions. 7.2. Let me just add, if they asked maybe f of x minus g of x, it's greater or equals to 0. Now we are saying this one is at the top. No, before that I need to firstly move that one that side. So this will be f of x greater or equals to g of x. So o umutona or umunyan. So it's here. That as well have the solution. So it's at negative 1 and 1. So there's no break. It's in between these two numbers. So we say minus 1 is less than x, which is less than 1. But because of they said equals to, I need to also include my equals to there. Yeah, just wanted to do another example of that kind. Then 7.8, calculate the maximum length of VW. Yes. So when they say maximum, minimum length, just know you have to say top graph minus bottom graph. So at VW, who's at the top? Who's at F? It's at the top, G is at the bottom. So length VW equals to y at the top minus y at the bottom. So y at the top, VW, ke magodimo ke f, so f it's negative x squared plus x plus 6 minus x minus 5. Because remember here it's minus and then it's x plus 5, so it will end up to that. This is negative x squared. This will cancel. Then I'm left with plus 1. This graph looks like this. It tends something like this. Turning point, I think, one, it's a negative graph. So the maximum length VW will then be 1. Or others could have said for maximum, I know they're looking for maximum, we're talking about turning point. Also minimum, it's turning point. So if it's a negative graph, it will have the maximum. If it's a positive graph, it will have the minimum. So maximum turning point, someone would have said I can use also x equals to minus b over 2a. B waka, it's 0. 2 times negative 1, this is 0. Substitute 0 back there. VW equals to minus 0 squared plus 1, which is 1. So that is the other way of doing it. And then that's it from me. Tango.